Welcome to Awakening the Podcast. I'm your host, Dr. Christian Strang. I'm a mystic, metaphysical psychologist, and best-selling Amazon author of 13 books. In 2008, I had a crazy experience, health crisis, psychic surgery, turned into spiritual awakening. Next thing you know, I have healing energy coming out of my hands, psychic abilities I never had. And since that time, I have served thousands of women and children worldwide, supporting them of healing their bodies from every illness you could think of, and their minds of every quote-unquote mental illness you could think of, and ascending more fully into their higher self in form. Today, I assist healers, creatives, artists of all kinds in living a truly spirit-led, prosperous, love-drenched unfolding as their higher self in form. And welcome to the calendar new year and January 2025. Now, there are many ways to celebrate a new year because, as you may be aware, January is only the calendar new year, which was installed by the you-know-who. And we're existing within this matrix, so we are, working with that calendar new year. But there's also the Chinese New Year. There's also spring equinox is the true energetic new year. And there's also your personal new year, which happens on your divine birthing day every single year. So there are many ways to experience and celebrate the new year. You get to tune in and see what feels most true for you and then honor that. And it may be different every year, which is really cool too. And you may choose to celebrate all of them. So remember, this is your divine life. You get to tune in to whatever feels most authentic to you in any moment and then take action from there. You do not have to follow what the mainstream culture tells you to do. You don't have, or you can. You don't have to do anything that you're told to do. You can tune into what feels most true and sacred and real to your sacred heart and create the most magical, enlightened, expansive, love-drenched life yet. And that is my hope and intention for you. So we're doing things a bit differently now with Awakening the Podcast. So this episode is going to be geared towards supporting our new Sacred Sunday meditation. So if you've been with us for any length of time, you know that every Sunday we have a remote group meditation. That's been happening for about 5 years now. Now, we first started out, we were doing 11 a.m. Pacific. Then the last couple of years, we got guidance that hey, just do it 11 a.m. your local time. Just make sure it happens. As 2024 was ending, the guidance came through. We need to come back all together at 11 a.m. Pacific. Now, there are many small groups of light beings all over the world that are doing Sunday meditations. So we are joining forces with thousands, tens of thousands of other light beings of all different flavors and styles and unique gifts all over the world. And that's where we come together on Sundays at 11 a.m. Pacific all over the world and meditate together. So our focus is coming together at one time to empower the force field and to have the greatest ripple of light. So maybe, like me, you might have grown up going to church on Sundays, or as it was called in my world, meetings every Sunday we did that, right? So we get to expand now, speaking of doing what really feels most aligned for us, we get to expand into having our Sunday service express in whatever way feels most authentic to us. And we know that meditation is one of the most powerful ways for us to connect to Source. And so we have the Sunday service meditations every single Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific, and you are invited to join us. We have a totally new way of doing the meditation. So for the past 5 years, we've been doing the Golden Age visualization meditation, where we've been spending 11 minutes visualizing our personal Golden Age, and then another 22 minutes just focused on our breath, just being available for whatever Source wanted to bring to us during that time. Now, we are changing things up. We are becoming more intentional, even more intentional in this meditation to be of service not only to ourselves as light beings, but to the greater whole. So we're going to expand what we've been doing and take it to the next level. So we're no longer doing the visualization at 11 a.m. on Sundays. We are now, starting at 11 a.m. Pacific, we are chanting for 11 minutes. So what I recommend is light some sage, light a candle, call on your higher wisdom, source, all of your guides and angels of the highest light, call on your higher self. Set your timer for 11 minutes at 11 a.m. And for 11 minutes, you are going to chant, "May all light beings be free." And since you're a light being, you're also chanting for yourself. May all light beings be free. 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 This is the chant. You are going to, for 11 minutes, chant, "May all light beings be free." Then at 11:11 a.m. Pacific, your alarm will go off and you will take a new action. If you are a love territory guide, you are going to, at that time at 11:11, use your specific ritual and prayer and blessing that you've been given as a love territory guide, along with the spiritual attunement you've received, and you are going to say that out into the ethers. You're going to do your hand placements the way you've been trained to, and for our love territory guides, I'll have more info for you specifically on that. If you're not yet a love territory guide and you care about being of service to the earth and to the collective at the next level, we have an amazing spiritual technology we'd love to share with you. But if you are not a love territory guide, at 11:11 a.m., you're going to say a prayer for your community that you live in, or if you're traveling, wherever you're traveling at that location. Then from 11:12, there we go, from 11:12 to 11:22, you can do another 11 minutes of chanting, "May all light beings be free," or you can be silent, or a combination of the two. And when you are in silence, your focus is connecting with source and receiving source light. So then the meditation will complete at 11:22 a.m. Pacific, and then you'll go about your beautiful Sunday, having been of service to yourself and to all sentient beings. So when we talk about light beings, we want to get a little more specific. What do we mean when we're talking about light beings? We are talking about beings who are carrying the light of source. This was a revelation for me on my journey, because if you remember, I think it was 2016, maybe 2017, I did a photo shoot and I was wearing a shirt that said, "We are all one." And I totally believe that. I was like, we're all one. No, all beings, we're all one. We're all here on earth, we're all one. Well, I had some wake-up calls that came when I asked my spiritual team to really have the next level of enlightenment and to really understand what was going on Earth. And when I made that proclamation and asked that, I started being given dreams and various pieces of wisdom that showed me that there are all different beings that are here on Earth from all different dimensions. The mainstream cult has a fascination with like extraterrestrials and aliens, but the truth is everyone really is. We all come from different places. So when we are chanting, "May all light beings be free," we are chanting for all those who are carrying the light of source. And we don't necessarily know who all those beings are. We might know those closest to us or those that we feel drawn to, but it's not up to our ego mind to determine who's carrying the light of source or not. But it is our job to affirm our own self-liberation and support the liberation of other light beings, so that all other beings who are carrying the light and the encodement of source can free themselves out of any enslavement time loops, any enslavement systems, any enslavement thought forms, any enslavement energy that they are carrying. So whatever level of freedom and awakening that wants to come for those light beings, all we're doing is unifying, calling upon source and all of the highest light to support this greater liberation. Again, it is not up to us to decide what that looks like or to dictate who or what or when or how that expresses. One of the things I will say is that for sure I have been nothing if not surprised over the course of this journey, and since I asked for the liberation in 2016, 2017 around, what's really happening here on Earth and who who are these beings and who are humans and what are they and why are we doing this? I've been nothing if not surprised at the ego judgments that my mind would make about who was carrying light and who wasn't, and then who actually was carrying light and who wasn't. So allow yourself to be surprised for sure on this earth journey. And again, just remind yourself, it's not up to you to know who light beings are. You will feel it when you're in the presence of them, however that presence unfolds, whether it's online or in person or reading something they wrote or whatever it is. But you will know because you will feel it in your body, but it's not necessary for you to know who the light beings are and who they are not. But it is necessary for you to be committed to your own self-liberation and the liberation of all light beings everywhere. So that is what the focus of our new weekly Sunday service meditations is. Again, remembering that there are pockets of communities all over the earth that are doing these meditations on Sundays in their own unique way. And you've been called into my swirl because you're meant to be holding this chant, this frequency, this energy, and doing this with us and joining with us in the field. And what we know through quantum physics is that when we are remote and at a distance, the torsion fields of impact and empowerment are 4 times greater than when we're in person. So what happens when we're in person is we have the ego mind, the conscious mind getting in the way of really the true spiritual nature and the true power that we all contain alchemically for the positive, for the light, to create more light on earth. So when we do these remote group meditations, what we're doing is activating this amplification that happens naturally when we join together in the field for the purpose of the light. It's one of the most powerful things we can do. So in 2015, I was guided to move my entire in-person healing practice to online, fully remote, because the ego mind, the conscious mind, was getting in the way. And so we want to allow the ego mind to just be relaxed while we all join together to amplify our greatest empowerment and enlightenment and unfolding here on earth. And that's what we get to do together every Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific. So I look forward to quote unquote seeing you in the field this Sunday and every Sunday at 11 a.m. Pacific. I try to put a reminder on my Instagram stories every Saturday to remind you all. But even if I don't put that reminder, just know it's always happening every Sunday, 11 a.m. I mean, I know life is busy and you have things you're doing, but I have literally done this meditation in the car. I've done it, I've been at brunch and been like, I have to excuse myself for 11 minutes. And I go into the car, do the meditation for at minimum the 11 minutes. So if you've only got a short amount of time, at minimum, do the 11 minutes with us. Do the prayer over your community at 11 a.m. and then get back to doing whatever you're doing. If you have more time, you don't have anything you're obligated to be a part of, then stay with us till 11:22 a.m. Pacific. But either way, I want you to know, no matter where you are, you're traveling, you're at, a family member or your child's game, you can sit there in the stands and chant, may all light beings be free, may all light beings be free, may all light beings be free. Keep your eyes open. You may notice that sometimes your eyes naturally pop open when you're chanting anyway. So you can do this from anywhere at any time. It's not ideal to be driving. We want you to be able to go into an altered state. But if you're in the car, if you're a passenger in the car, you can do this. If you're driving and you're not able to pull over for 11 minutes and do the chant with us in a meditative state, you can go ahead and just chant, may all light beings be free, as you're doing whatever your activities are. So find the way that you can participate with us every Sunday. Don't let having other obligations get in the way of this. Invite your children and your partner to join you. So say, hey, we're going to chant for 11 minutes. Here's the chant, may all light beings be free. And let them participate at whatever level they want to, right? So you can make this work for your lifestyle in any way and any configuration, and you can still be doing things on a Sunday and fit time in to do this and join us. So I look forward to sharing with you every Sunday, 11 a.m. Pacific. No matter what, I will be there one way or the other. So I look forward to connecting with you in that way. We're going to close out this episode of Awakening the Podcast by asking for a favor from you. I know. I don't know that I've ever asked you for a favor on the podcast, but there's a first time for everything. And we're in this new frequency of the calendar year 2025. And oh boy, is it a totally different frequency than we have ever experienced. If you recall, we've been telling you since I think 2018 that 2025 was going to be the next, maybe it was 2019. 2025 is going to be the next big shift in consciousness, and here we are. It is happening. So what my favor is, what my ask is of you, is I need to know, what do you need at this stage in your awakening journey? What's really going to support you in living a spirit-led life as your higher self in form here on earth from Awakening the Podcast? Do you want more oracle readings? If you notice, we've been doing some daily oracle messages on our YouTube shorts, so feel free to visit us on YouTube. It's at Dr. Christian Strang. So we've got some shorts on YouTube. Do you want more oracle readings? Do you want more podcast episodes like this, where we just share with you a new practice or a new way to gather together with other light beings and be of service? Do you want more interviews? Tell me what it is that would really be of benefit to you on your awakening journey and how Awakening the Podcast can support you. Now, it's really easy to communicate this message with me. You can direct message me on Instagram. You can email me directly if you have my email. You can message me through my website, sacred-spirituality.org. By the way, check it out. We did a nice, fun refresh of the site. So we've got a nice new look and new verbiage and new focus and new energy there. So check us out there. But you can message me through the website as well. So reach out to me whichever way that you are able to reach out to me, DM, email, or through the website. If you have my phone number and you want to text me, you can text me. But let me know what it is that you'd like to see from Awakening the Podcast. How would you like to see what content would you like to see from Awakening the Podcast that could truly serve you on your path as a spirit-led being, here to align with, embody, and unify with your higher self and live as your higher self, aka your God, Goddess self, in form? I want to hear from you, and I look forward to hearing from you. So much love to you. Thank you again for listening. Please feel free and make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, like all the things so you can stay connected to us on whatever your podcast streaming service is. We're also streaming Awakening the Podcast on YouTube, so that's an easy way to stay connected, get notifications. You can get free meditations and chapters and a free quiz on what kind of spiritual healer you're here to be at sacred-spirituality.org. And as always, I'm your host, Dr. Christian Strang, and this has been Awakening the Podcast.